Okay, good morning, everybody. Let me know if you can actually see me. I'm not seeing things. Let me know if you guys can see me, if you guys can hear me okay, if everything is good. My name is Felicia from Sweet Georgia, and this is the Taking Back Friday live stream version. We do this once a month, usually on the second Friday of every month, but this week we're doing it a little bit earlier just because next week is a holiday. Yeah, okay, great. I can see you guys in the chat. Let me see. Okay, Greta can see me again. Yay. Oh, fantastic. Live streaming is great. Awesome. Okay, wonderful. It's so nice to see you guys all here. It's wonderful to see you guys in the chat. I can see. Fantastic. Yes, we were having issues with the live stream. Internet is crazy here. But wonderful. Thank you so much for being here. I have lots of things to share with you today, which is why I'm very, very excited about all of this. So, one of the first things I want to show you guys is this amazingly beautiful weekender sweater that Anita at the studio knit recently. She knit this actually as a sample for Knit City, but I never got a chance to really show you. So this is the Weekender sweater that is designed by Andrea Mowry. Fantastic, beautiful sweater. This one happens to be knit in the Twilight color, which is one of the first, it's the one of the colors from the new Elixir color palette that we created for fall. And so we've created a number of colors here. I have some colors to show you. So this one is the Boreal Forest. This one would look really good in this sweater. This one is the Amber Ale. This is one of my favorites. I want to make these things in this color here. We also have this color. Greta really likes this color. This color is the yellow. This is called a honey gold. I I love this color. I love it so much. And then this one is the Stormy Night. This one has actually been a super, super popular color, this blue color, Stormy Night. But any of these colors would look really, really great in this weekender sweater. Anita, she knit this one by hand. So this one is knit by hand in that Twilight colorway. Really lovely. I started knitting a weekender sweater on the knitting machine at home, the LK 150. And I got as far as doing sort of like I tried to do the ribbing on the machine as well, and I managed to make one piece, but I didn't like how I sort of unzipped this part and then relatched it up, and it was a little bit floppy and everything like that. But this little feature, if you knit this by hand, looks really, really lovely. Um, yeah. And I think that this sweater is knit in the round, which makes it really, really easy because you knit it in the round and when you knit it in the round, you're basically knitting stockinette. You're not knitting all these purl stitches. It looks like all this pearls on the outside, but you just turn the sweater inside out after you finish knitting it, and then that's how you finish it. So it's a lovely, lovely sweater. It feels amazing. It's so comfortable. The superwash worsted is very like squishy and soft, and yeah, it feels great. I might wear this sweater home. Sorry, Anita. Yeah, so this is really, yeah, I love it. In any case, we are doing a sweater yarn sale right now at Sweet Georgia from November the 1st until November the 15th. We have a sweater sale going on. And so the sweater weight yarns are currently on sale. So you will see that in the worsted. We also have it in the DK weight. This is another sample that was knit again for Knit City. This one is in the DK weight. And again, you're going to see those colors in here as well. This is that honey gold color again. Really, really lovely color. And then this one here is, well, this is the Stormy Night, that blue color. And yeah, and then we mixed it in with some of those neutrals that we have. So here we have, they're listed here so I don't get them wrong. There's charcoal and snowfall. So snowfall is this light gray color, and then charcoal is the dark gray color here. Really, really lovely. So this one, beautiful sample. This one is all superwash DK. Again, it's like a nice weight. This one is called the Camp Wilkerson shawl, a scarf shawl stole, and it's designed by Caitlin Hunter. I love this as well. Very super graphic and everything like that. So these are two of the weights of yarn that are currently on sale. There's the worsted weight and the DK weight. Both of these are on sale until November 15th. is what I want to remember and not get wrong. The other thing that I have to show you, I have actually kind of something I want to show you that is, I'm going to talk about it a little bit later, but this super heavy box down here, this is from Shacked. And so we're going to talk a little bit about rigid heddle stuff in a minute. Rigid heddle weaving, rigid heddle patterns, rigid heddle yarn for weaving, all of that kind of stuff we're going to talk about in a second. But before I do that, I do want to show you, because these have been lining the hall for the past couple of weeks. This is the Advent box. So this is Advent 2022, or if you want to call it the holiday countdown or craft vent, or every day you open a tiny package of tiny yarn. That's what is inside this box. And so this year we made a number of different kinds of boxes. This one, I think, actually, I don't know what's inside. This is I think it's a fingering weight box, but there's fingering weight yarn with sock yarn in there. There's another version that has DK weight yarn if you want to knit yarn that's a little bit thicker, a little bit quicker to knit. And then this year, for the very first time ever, we have a fiber version, like a spinning fiber version of these boxes, of these holiday boxes. And so the spinning fiber one, we actually did so well on the spinning fiber that we actually sold out of the spinning fiber, and we made more spinning fiber ones. So there's actually a little bit more of the spinning fiber Advent kits available on the shop site right now. We had some we had some inventory tracking things on the website that were causing us some headaches, but I think it's all solved now. So um, I wanted to show you kind of what's inside the box. I'm going to see if I could take this little thing off here and show you what's inside the box. This is, I'm not going to unwrap anything because that would take all the fun out of it, but I just want to take sort of the little belly band off here and then show you what it looks like inside. So that is our pattern. So this is the pattern instruction that comes inside the box, and there's a pattern that goes with every box. And so depending on which box you got a fingering weight or a DK weight. There is a knit pattern and a crochet pattern. So there's a couple of different options there. And then these are the little packages inside. So our hallway is just lined with a million of these packages here. They're cute. And so each one of these can be unwrapped every day, and then you'll be able to make something. I've seen all of the finished projects, and the finished projects are beautiful. They are super fun this year, really gorgeous. It's actually been kind of inspiring me to get into crochet a little bit more. And so I actually set about getting a crochet hook set. And I have been watching Charlotte's crochet class. So Charlotte at the studio, Charlotte Lee, she is very, very, very proficient and excellent crochet crocheter, and she's also now an crochet instructor. So she taught a course for us on the School of Sweet Georgia probably last year about crochet, just fundamental stitches like single crochet, half double crochet, all of these kinds of ways of making crochet stitches. But when you're making these stitches, you're making rectangles. And so Charlotte has been working on the next course, which is coming out very shortly, if it hasn't already. It's coming out very, very shortly on the School of Sweet Georgia, and it's about shaping. So it's about being able to do increases and decreases. And just like in knitting, when you're able to start doing increases and decreases, you're able to start moving the stitches around and creating movement in your fabric, creating shapes, creating all sorts of things. And so in this crochet class that Charlotte is teaching for the School of Sweet Georgia, she's designed a bunch of triangles, and the triangles help you learn how to decrease, how to increase, and all these kinds of different techniques. But there is also a cowl project called the Yona cowl that we're using as a bit of an example in that course as well. And I've been looking at that pattern again, that crochet pattern, and it's got these like little ripples, and it just looks so pretty that it's kind of inspired me to pick up the crochet hook and try that a little bit as well. So I'm experimenting with a number of different brands of crochet hooks, and I will hopefully have more to share with you in a couple of weeks. But I want to do some testing with different ones because the last time I crocheted something, I think you guys might have seen. I crocheted this giant granny square in the mohair silk DK, and it was meant to be a giant granny square that you could create into a shrug. And I finished crocheting the whole thing, but then I totally messed up all of my shoulders with all that crocheting. And so I'm exploring a bunch of different crochet hooks that are supposed to be more ergonomic and supposed to be better for your hands, better for carpal tunnel, better for all sorts of things like that. So I'm experimenting a little bit with that. The crochet stuff is really intriguing me right now. There's a bunch of things that I want to make with crochet, and very excited to see the crochet patterns in the Advent box because the crochet patterns in the Advent box are beautiful this year. And so if you have ever wanted to crochet something for during the holidays and play with a bunch of different colors of yarn and just incorporating different things every day, I think you will really, really enjoy that one. So you can still find the Advent on our shop site as well. And we're actually shipping right now. So those are all leaving our studio, shipping out into the world in order to make it to wherever you are in time for the holidays. Oh, fantastic. So yes, yeah, that Yona cowl, please go check out that pattern. It's so lovely. Amanda's saying I've just swatched for the cowl. Yeah, it's really, really lovely. So that is the stuff to do with the sweater weight yarns. That is the stuff to do with the Advent calendar. I do want to show you guys the other things that have been happening. And so one of the other things is that Amanda Wood, she is a local weaver. She's a local artist. And she has been teaching our rigid heddle weaving classes for a while now. She taught us color and weave, and now we have another class that we are about to release with her, which is about lace. And so it's about weaving textures on a rigid heddle loom using a pickup stick. Because I have here actually, I have this is a Cricut loom. This is actually the one that I'm borrowing right now from Greta, and she brought this in for me today. But this is the Shacked Cricut loom. It's a rigid head loom. Very, very simple, easy to understand weaving loom. This is a really lovely thing. Um, and so Amanda has been teaching us a lot about rigid heddle weaving and how you can go beyond making just plain weave on your rigid heddle loom, because rigid heddle loom is really great at making plain weave. Now, if you want to sort of manipulate the yarns that are being lifted and all of these kinds of things in order to create different textures in your cloth, you can use something like a pickup stick, which is just like an extra, it's like a flat stick where you can sort of go into your shed and pick up you select which threads you want to pick up. And then when you flip that pickup stick on its end, you've created a new shed. So you don't have to just stick with the shed that's available on a rigid heddle loom. Just every other thread is being picked up every single time. If you use a pickup stick, you can selectively pick up which threads you want to go up and which ones you want to stay down. And so this allows you to create all sorts of different textures in your cloth. And so yes, Amanda Wood's lace class with pickup sticks course is coming very shortly, November 30th. So, oh yes, Greta's mentioning that the materials lesson is available now. So you can go to the School of Sweet Georgia site and go to that class, and there will be one page that's already up and running, which will tell you about what yarns Amanda used in the class and also show some photos of what we're going to be making. But there's some beautiful beautiful stole, like a stole shawl kind of project that she created using this lace texture to it. It's fantastic. And so when we were filming that, it was also at the same time as Amanda was designing a project specifically for Gist. So Gist Yarn is the yarn company that creates a lot of the weaving yarn that we use. So this one happens to be the Mallow, which is like a cotton slub yarn. And then this one is the Duet. We use these yarns a lot in our weaving projects for the school because they're lovely yarns. And I also really like Gist Yarns. I like what they're doing. I like seeing that they are creating brand new weaving yarns from scratch. They are designing these yarns, working with a mill to combine cotton and linen and organic cotton and all sorts of things like that to create their own yarns. So I was really, really interested in all of the things that Gist has been doing. So that's why we use a lot of their yarns. Now, Amanda Wood has also been designing for Gist. And so she recently came out with the subscription box um, for Gist. And it's a project called the Weave Quarterly. So it's an idea that it's a subscription box that you get one box every quarter, and in each box there's like 4 or 5 cones of this yarn of various colors. You can choose like this colorway or that colorway, but it comes with 4 or 5 cones of yarn and then a bunch of projects. And so I want to just quickly show you what Amanda designed for Gist. So you can see here this is the 3 projects that she designed for the quarterly box, and her box is called Forest Walk. So there's kind of like a stole shawl blanket kind of project in there with the charcoal color and the cream, and it comes out looking a bit like a buffalo check sort of pattern. There's also these cafe curtains that she created here, so those are really, really lovely, just very graphic shapes. And then down here in this corner here, you can see this is where you're seeing a lot of texture in the fabric. So these are like warp and weft floats and things like that. That's the kind of thing that's going on in there. Really gorgeous and lovely textiles that she's created. I really love Amanda's aesthetic. You'll see that in a lot of the projects that she designs also for us for the School of Sweet Georgia. She designed a couple of clasped weft projects and a clasped warp project for the weaving courses. And her aesthetic is just, it's very delicate, it's very minimal, it's very graphic. You can see this a lot in the artwork that she also creates because she's not only a weaver and a weaving artist, she also uses textiles in printmaking, and she also does sculpture, like ceramic sculpture. So there's a number of different ways that she works with these different textures and these different patterns, and textiles is part of all of that. So if you don't already follow Amanda, I would encourage you to check out what she is doing. She's doing a ton of beautiful weaving, but this design set for Gist is also really, really lovely. We actually sat down in June and we recorded like a whole interview or like a conversation with me and Amanda. We were looking at each one of these pieces. We were holding them up and showing them. This is all before we shipped the box to Gist so that they could take these gorgeous photos. But Amanda and I had sat here and we were looking through all of her pieces. We were looking through her journal, as talking about how she designed these pieces. And it was a really, really, really lovely conversation. And we filmed it. And then something happened with the audio on our end with this conversation, and it ended up being like a video that we couldn't really share with everybody because the audio quality was just not good. So I'm really, really sad about that. Really sad that we didn't get a chance to share with you this whole design process and everything in here. But I do want to encourage you guys to follow Amanda and what she's doing. If you want to learn how to weave with a rigid heddle loom, it is very accessible and very easy to get started. It's easy to warp and all of this kind of stuff. So I encourage you guys to check all of those things out. So that is a little bit about that. Now, the reason why Greta brought this loom in today is because we have a very special package that arrived. I don't know if you guys have heard about this at all, but Shact designed a new thing this year and it's called the Quartet. You can post in the chat if you know what this is. I think it's just like mind blowing and it's a game changer. I feel like this is crazy. But this here is a rigid heddle loom. This loom is very, very easy to work. You put the warp on here. There's a reed that goes in here, and it basically gives you the ability to raise every other thread and weave plain weave in a very, very easy way. Okay. So this thing is great. And I feel like in the weaving world, it in the past couple of years, there are like groups of weavers who are like, we are rigid heddle weavers. We use this loom, and I will never need another loom. And then there are other weavers who are like I started with a 4-shaft table loom. And so 4-shaft looms, multi-shaft looms, working with the ability to lift any threads you want, whenever you want, all of that kind of stuff. That's like a whole other genre of weaving. This thing now, with this Shact Quartet, you can now convert you can convert your rigid heddle loom into a 4-shaft loom. It is the craziest thing ever. So you can barely see it, I think, on here, but because the writing on this box is very, very tiny. But that is what it looks like. This is like this additional piece, this additional wooden frame that you can assemble and attach to your loom. So basically, I would take out this crossbar here, and then the whole frame would go here, and it replaces what you would normally use for your rigid heddle reed part, and it replaces it with a set of shafts. And so now this 15-inch Cricut loom, rigid heddle loom that you have can become a 4-shaft loom. And so I feel like this is a game changer because anybody who's ever sort of invested in a Cricut loom can now look at this and be like, well, besides learning how to use pickup sticks and learn how to weave texture and learn how to do double weave on, like you can do tons of stuff with your rigid heddle loom. You can do it in a rigid heddle method, like using pickup sticks and using a whole bunch of varieties of 2 heddles and string heddles and all sorts of things like that. Or you can convert this to a 4-shaft loom and work with it just like a 4-shaft table loom. It's mind blowing to me. And so originally we wanted to kind of like assemble the quartet and have it ready to show you, but I think that it makes more sense for us to make like a proper video going through assembling it and using it. Um, but we opened the box a little bit just to see kind of what's inside. Oh, so there you can see a little bit up close what it kind of looks like. So that is the what it looks like. It just adds these extra shafts to your existing loom and can make yourself 4-shaft projects from now on. So these are all the pieces. They look like they are unfinished. This looks like the pieces for the toggles. These are heddles in there, Texsolve heddles. You can get these in a number of different reeds. So I got the one here that is 12 dent reed. We also ordered some with the 10 dent reed, and so those are both available in the studio right now. We have the 10 dent reed and the 12 dent reed. We've put these quartets on our website as well, so you can order them right now. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to assemble this 12 dent reed one. And then if anybody's in the Vancouver area and wants to buy this one, you can buy the one that I have already assembled. And then you won't have to do it yourself. So you can see here, this is a stainless steel reed. This is the same as you would use in the Baby Wolf. This is the same as you would use in any multi-shaft loom, but this is the 12 dent one. Yes. We also have, I think put on the website, there are other options for the 6 dent, 8 dent, and 15 dent. So if those are the kinds of weights that you want to use, that's the kind of density that you want to use in your reed, those are also available, but we would have to order those separately. But you know, the fact that this is a regular stainless steel reed means that you can swap these out. Like if you had another table loom with an 8 dent reed, you could pop that in here as well. Yeah. So I think I'm gonna do all of the, ooh, yeah, yeah. So these are all pieces that if you wanted, you could probably finish these with like a Danish oil or something like that before you assemble it all together. But they are all kind of unfinished wood right now. Or you could just leave it as is because the Cricut looms are not finished either. Oh, so many things. So many things to make and do. But yeah, I'm really excited about this Cricut Quartet idea because I feel like it gives a pathway for people who already have these rigid heddle looms to be like, well, I know how to weave with my rigid heddle loom now. What can I do next? What else can I explore? What else can I learn? And so that I feel like is going to be really, really super fun. So yeah, let me know if you think that this is something that you would consider doing. If you have a Cricut loom, it doesn't they don't have one for the 10-inch yet, but this exists for the 15-inch Cricut right now. Yeah, fantastic. So those are the kinds of things that are happening here in the studio right now. Um, I really wanted to show you a sweater that I had knit myself on the machine recently, but I'm at this point where I've started a number of sweaters, but I've only knit one piece of each sweater, which doesn't make any sense, right? So I've knit the back piece of that sweater that I've been wanting to make. It's the one by Petite Knit. I keep forgetting what it's called, but it's a long cardigan. No frills cardigan. That's what it's called. The no frills cardigan. I've been knitting that one. I calculated everything. I knit the back piece of that. I'm using two yarns held together, the BFL Silk Fine and a Silk Mist. So I've been doing that. And then I also knit one piece of the Weekender. I knit one piece of a Flannery sweater. I've knit one piece of a the Hohi boxy cardigan. There's just so many things that I just knit one piece of, and I think that I need to just make one thing at a time. I think that that is going to be the focus. I want to finish at least one sweater before the end of this year, and I think it should be the no frills cardigan because that one is so far been my most favorite. So yeah. Oh, thanks, Greta. Yeah, Greta just posted in the chat where that link is. My boxes, Amanda. I have overflowed the boxes of things that I'm learning and the things that I'm working on. But it's actually been quite good. Last weekend I did go away to the islands went to the Gulf Islands, and I brought one of my boxes with all of the weaving reading in there, and that was fantastic because then I just focused on what was inside the box. And I feel like that is really good when you're traveling, like because everything is so minimal. You've really pared down to just the thing that you want to take and just the thing that you want to focus on. And I think that that makes life a lot easier. So I think that for the rest of this year, I'm going to be focused on finishing a lot of things, tidying up a lot of things, and then I am going to uh, be clear to start new projects and things like that. And Cheryl's asking, what colors am I using for the no frills cardigan? So I'm using one of the new colors from the Elixir collection. It's called Sangria. And so it's kind of like a rosy, pinky kind of color. Sangria is the BFL Silk Fine color, so that's the majority of the color. And then I'm using the Silk Mist in Crushed Berries, which is like a very, very, very fuchsia pink color. And so blending those two together, I kind of feel like the Silk Mist Haze, the fuzz that is really this deep magenta pink, is adding a wash of color to the sangria that is very, very fun and interesting. And so one of the things that you guys may or may not know is that I just brought the knitting machine from home, the LK150. It's a Silver Reed 150, LK150. So it's a very simple, it's a plastic machine, but I've brought it to the studio because what we're going to try to do is we're going to do a new study. So we have been making all of these colors in this new color system recently, right? Like we created new primary colors for ourselves, and then we created this color wheel, and then we a color triangle actually. So beyond the color wheel of the outside colors mixing two colors together, we made a color triangle mixing more than one color together to create these really beautiful colors that are the Elixir colorways. And now we're taking each one of these colorways and holding them together with all the other colorways to see how they are going to all mix and combine. Like, what would it look like if you were to knit these two colors together, hold these two colors together? What would it look like if you knit these two colors together, right? And then, because these happen to be the same weight, they would affect the swatch equally. You think that they would affect the swatch equally. However, if we were to change one of these things to like Silk Mist, which is a much finer, it's a lighter yarn, it's like just a haze, it's a wash of color, what would it be like if we use this as the foundation and use this in Silk Mist and just put like a wash of this color on top of that? How would these things change? How would it look? And I'm so excited about this project because it's like a very, very thorough scientific exploration of what happens when you mix all of these colors together. And then we will have all these swatches to reference later in the future to say, well, like I want to make a sweater holding together one skein of this and one skein of Silk Mist. Which one should I choose? How does the Silk Mist affect this? Lots and lots of ways of using this. So in any case, this is a project that we are going to embark upon using the Elixir colorways and seeing how all of these mix and combine together so that we have a library of held together colors that we can then use for future sweaters. So like you think about this one, this sweater is worsted weight, and it's just, like one strand of this yarn. But what if we were to mix two of these colors together that are both tough love sock or both another fingering weight, like mohair silk sock or something like that, holding one strand of each color together to knit it into a worsted weight garment? We would be getting like marls and blends and just so many beautiful mixes happening there. What if we knit one strand of mohair silk sock and another strand of mohair silk sock and added another third strand of silk mist in another color? Like, how would all of that mix and combine and look? It was just like, I feel like when you have just like one skein of each and then you're testing, you can test for texture and you can test and say, oh, that's cool, that how that turned out, that was really great. But not knowing how every single color is going to turn out, um, you just don't know what you don't have access to. You don't know what you don't know, right? So I think that having that chance, like we're going to do the testing for everyone, so we're going to mix and combine all these colors so that you can see, oh, what does it look like when I mix these two colors together? Like this is one of my absolute favorite things, and I've shown this like probably a million times before, but this is the 5x5 cowl, right? It's basically all it is 5x5 ribbing, but it's two skeins of cash silk, no, cash luxe fine, which is a fingering weight merino cashmere nylon yarn, two skeins of that sock yarn held together, plus a skein of the silk mist. But I love how the colors mix and blend. So I think there's arbutus in here. I think there might be lichen in here. And then the silk mist is the strawberry tea color. And so I mixed these three things together and it's like, oh, I like how it turned out. But what would it look like if I had chosen any other color for the Cash Lux Fine? Or if I'd chosen like a dark silk mist or a light silk mist? It would change everything about how this looks overall. And so it's that kind of stuff that we want to play with now. Now that we have these colors set, now we can like explore all of the different variations between all these colors and see how they all work together. So yeah. And then the final thing is, if you are interested in my ongoing saga of trying to make Fair Isle on my knitting machine at home, this is the swatch that I made last night. I many of you guys who were watching the I made a video a couple of weeks ago, a couple of months ago, about knitting machines being awesome. And after that machine knitting video, a bunch of people recommended to me this community called the Machine Knit Community, and it is run by Nick Corrigan. She is awesome, fantastic, just like such a cool, inspired, encouraging, wonderful knitter. And so Nick Corrigan started this community called Machine Knit Community, and they teach classes, they show you how to do Fair Isle, it's just like this community of really avid machine knitters. And so she actually reached out to me to join on a panel, talking with Alta Studio about finding yarns that would be suitable for machine knitting. And so I got to be on this conversation in this chat with Nick and with Alta Studio, talking about what yarns to use for machines. And I was talking about using like hand knitting yarn and being able to use that in a machine knitting situation. And then one of Nick's favorite yarns that she uses for a lot of her design projects is made by a mill in Scotland, and it's called JC Rennie. And so, based on her recommendation, I went out and I ordered a little bit of that yarn and started to play with that last night. And so, this yarn is really, really lovely. Um, I let my husband sort of like hold up one of the balls of yarn and say, "Oh, what do you think? What do you feel?" And he's like, "Oh, well, it doesn't feel as soft as he thought it was going to feel." But I think after washing this stuff, it is beautiful. It's soft. It is wonderful. But this JC Rennie stuff comes on cones. It's much easier to machine knit. I thought that that was going to be my solution. I changed out a whole bunch of the needles, like the swapped out old needles for brand new needles on this machine, and it is still dropping stitches. Like you can see, there's a giant hole in the swatch right there. There's a hole. There are stitches that are falling off. I am so close to giving up, but I don't want to give up. I really want this to work. But you can see when it works, it's fantastic. When it works on the machine and knitting these machine knit Fair Isle swatches, when it works, it works. When it doesn't work, it's horrible and you can't fix it because you've continued to knit and then this orphaned stitch down here is not going to latch up into anything. So, in any case, at some point in time, this will happen. I'm very excited about this possibly happening. So, that is basically what we've been working on here at the studio. We have Advent, we have sweater yarns going on, we have rigid heddle stuff happening, we have these rigid heddle classes coming out with Amanda Wood, we have crochet classes coming out with Charlotte. There's a lot of stuff going on. So I hope that you guys want to jump in and participate. The School of Sweet Georgia has this community where everybody is chatting every day about the things that they are making, the things that they're working on, and more specifically, like working towards goals that they have around what they want to learn this year. So really excited to be part of that community and looking forward to seeing what everybody's making this holiday season as you guys get ready for the end of the year. So, thank you guys so much for being here. Really glad that I got the chance to wear this sweater today. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next video. It might be a couple weeks. I'm going away for a couple of weeks at the end of November, so I might not be posting that many things. But yeah, I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you guys so much for being here. We'll see you next time. Bye bye.